Hello, and welcome back to my home and garden here in Northeast Oklahoma. I'm Chip Jones, also known as the Preppy Gardener, where today we're actually at the front of the house and we're getting it all styled and ready for fall. I took some time the other day to kind of go ahead and get some of the foundation plantings in because, as you all know, when you're taking out large containers or you're taking the plants out of large containers and you're trying to get those in, that in itself can be a pretty big job. These planters did wonderfully well this summer. The trellises were just so tall and covered with mandevilla vine. It was really hard to start taking them down, but I knew the cooler weather was coming. We've already had one little dip in the cold spell. We've already had some rain. So the fall temperatures are coming on, and it's like fall just happens all of a sudden. We were in the midst of a hot, dry summer, and all of a sudden it's fall. So I went ahead and brought in some plants to kind of start getting a feel. I like to do this in a couple of different stages. Worry about the containers first, and then look at it and decide what other color, what other plants I need to kind of add in and really start bringing it together. Probably the star of the show this year are these marigolds. You know, so many people use mums this time of year, and I'm always trying to think of something different. So this year I went for these marigolds. We grow these out at Sanders Nursery here in Broken Arrow, and it's for a wonderful celebration in our Hispanic community. It is actually celebrated on November 2nd, which is coming up, and it's known as the Day of the Dead. Of course, I don't know all of the technical information on that. We're going to put up a little bit of an information card, which comes on the marigolds out at the nursery. But you know, it's a great option for something different this time of year. We all see mums everywhere, but these actually like a little bit of the cooler temperatures. And this festival or celebration in Mexico, when it's celebrated, they actually take a lot of the blooms off and they cover altar spaces with them to celebrate the memory of those who've gone on before us. So this time of year, we grow a great amount of these that we sell out at the nursery. And I thought, what a great plant to try here at the farm. I want to see how well they do. They have a wonderful, unique fragrance. As you know, marigolds have kind of a pungent smell, and that's part of the story. So you'll definitely have to read up about this festival. But I thought it was going to make such a great display. Of course, we'll put a picture up here where you can see what we did last year. We did much more of an emphasis going up out of the pots. There was the corn stalks, and I had huge branches. But because autumn is coming a little later this year, I don't have as many leaves that have turned just yet. But as I was putting these containers together, I really liked that little punch of purple that was coming through. So I decided this year, instead of doing pansies down front, I decided to go with this ornamental kale. This kale will last for us into the winter season here in Oklahoma. I'm going to come on in. I'm going to mulch it. So these have just gotten planted this week. Of course, we did kind of a back border of those marigolds. Something I actually am going to add today are these bright lights Swiss Chard. You know, once we get a heavy freeze, the marigolds will go away, and then that Swiss Chard will actually come to life. And I think that'll be great. It'll go from fall to winter. So I'm going to go ahead and get those planted in today, let those start rooting in, and probably once we have a hard freeze, we won't have to worry about the orange being in the picture anymore. And by having all this beautiful green and purple, I really was thinking, what could I do to actually bring it up and a little bit closer to the house? So I decided to go with this neon purple pansy, which I am a pansy fan. You've already seen me talk about those a couple of times this season. And I just love this vibrant purple. Just look at the faces on these. All of them are a little bit different, which keeps it interesting. Actually has a little bit of white in some of them, but I just love the mix. And I thought, well, this would be a great addition because what I'm going to actually be doing is adding orange pumpkins here to the front. But just look at this beautiful collection of pansies. And what I did is I used the same style terracotta pot, but actually used a couple of different sizes. And then in between, just to break that up and give it a little more interest, I used this beautiful ornamental kale. This curly kale has kind of a purple throat got in there. And I love the huge, big size. I didn't actually plant these. A little trick, find something that's large enough to cover the whole pot and just plop it down in there. I mean, it's just such an easy thing to do. One plant and just look at the impact it gives. Again, what I'm going to do is add all of my orange in through pumpkins, but I just love having this bright kind of punch of purple right here this time of year. Then moving on up to the porch, as you can see, I'm actually going to keep it quite simple this year. I'm going to let the pumpkins actually make a lot of the statement. And we're going to be bringing those in. And then we're actually going to be doing something a little different on the front door toward the end. We're going to be going out and harvesting. I'm always talking about growing things on your property, if you can, if you have the space, that you can harvest and use in different ways. And we're going to be going out and cutting some of the autumn blaze maple branches. I'm actually going to go to one other place and show you what purple thing that inspired me that's going to be going in this arrangement here at the front door. So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go get some of the pumpkins. Got a couple other things that we're going to be adding. We'll come back here. We're actually going to get this all put together. I think we've got about another hour of sunlight left today, so we'll try to start moving kind of fast to get it all pulled together. So I'm going to head out now and start getting the pumpkins. So this is what I got so excited about. The purple hyacinth bean vine. I've shown you this in a few videos leading up to now, but I actually get to use it. I thought, oh, this will be perfect to add to the front door arrangement. So I've left a lot of these really, really long so that we can come in and do some harvesting to actually use in the arrangement that we're going to do on the front door. So I'm just going to run through really quick. I mean, just look at what a perfect accent that's going to be. I'm going to cut these a little on the long side. We're going to have a lot of those kind of hanging outside of the bucket. I think it's going to be actually really unique and pretty. You know, the only thing about when you have some purple accents, especially on a darker door, since the front door is a dark chocolate brown, you're really going to have to get up on it pretty close to be able to see it. But I mean, once you're up there, just look at what a neat accent this is. And to be able to go out into your own landscape and harvest these without having to go to a florist to actually pick them up. I mean, such a great thing to have. Again, all of these came back from seeds that just overwintered and then sprang back up in the spring. I'm going to be known as the hyacinth bean vine guy because I talk about it so much, but it is such a great plant. I'm going to run through really quick, get these harvested. So while we're here, take a quick peek. We're not going to tell them that we let you see this, but look, they're working on the overhang above the door. It's coming together nicely. We had that great antique overhang that we got in Oklahoma City. I had a couple people ask me about that particular overhang. We got that at a really unique architectural salvage place called Dead People Stuff in Oklahoma City. And it has turned out to be great. Of course, what we've had to do is widen it. We're having to customize it to fit our door. But I just want you to get a peek. We're in the process. And hopefully before long, we'll bring you back and show you the finished potting shed. So I got my container on the front door. I had been wanting to use this for several years. We had these out at the nursery And I think this is going to be the perfect time. It's going to add a little splash of orange color here to the front door, but I left it a little bit low because I want to have some good sized branches going in. So I'm going to run through now and just add some natural branches. A few of these have had a little bit of extra color added to them, but we had the autumn blaze maple from the yard and also the purple hyacinth bean vine. So I'm going to just take a little time, put this together. We'll see how it turns out. So I got this front display all finished up. I think it turned out to be kind of fun. It's all over the place, but I really like it the way it turns out. The mix of these are beech leaves that I got at the floral wholesale. These were some oak leaves. Of course, those had already been tinted, so they're nice and vibrant. But I think it looks wonderful with this hyacinth bean vine just kind of draping over. I was starting to get a little heavy, so what I did is I actually tied one of the branches to the burlap, which I stapled to the top of the door when I had the door open, and just made a kind of a little bit of a focal point right here toward the right side. I did a trio of little striped pumpkins. I used a hyacinth stake to put those in there and then stick them down in the foam. But I just think it's fun. I like doing things different year to year. And certainly this makes quite a statement when you come up to the front door. Again, when you have something like this and then you have corn stalks and all of these pumpkins, I decided not to do something over the arbor, the hyacinth bean vine here on the front. When we were cleaning out the pots, I decided just to go ahead and take that out and just kind of let it breathe just a little bit. It's kind of nice to see a little bit of a different feel after you've had those beautiful vines growing all summer long. It was nice just to kind of have a little bit of lightness. So now what I'm going to do is finish up these pots. I've got the Swiss chard all planted now. And before the sun goes down, wanted to be sure and come in and add this filler, so to speak, kind of in the middle of the arrangement. Of course, these aren't very bright in color, but we had these left over at the nursery, at Sanders Nursery. We have a vegetable garden where we sell fresh vegetables from the property. And they had this kind of stand of okra that was left. And I said, please leave it. I certainly want to come in and see if I can get some of these okra pods and use for my fall arrangements. I was talking to them and I said, next year I want to do that red okra, something really nice and vibrant, and try this again and see how different it looks. Of course, with the green and having the green grass, it's not going to show out a lot, but if you've seen any of my videos where I've done containers, you know I like using different elements to come into my pots. Dried pods many times are added, leaves, branches, things like that. I think this okra is going to be really neat. Again, I think next year, trying some of that red okra will be just the ticket to add in there. So I'm going to run through now, kind of get all of this finished up because the light is going down so quickly. It's starting to already turn pretty cool. We're supposed to be in the low 50s here in just a couple of hours. So I want to go ahead and get all this wrapped up because I'm ready to start enjoying fall, be out and get out here and enjoy all of these fun things that we get to do each year here on the front of the house. So remember, if you liked this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me, the Preppy Gardener, and I'll be back with another video very soon.